A storm is brewing. It's going to be powerful. It's going to sweep across America with fury. And it can't be stopped. I'm David Thompson. That storm is the upcoming presidency of Donald Trump. Now, over the last few months, I've been making videos, most of them sort of hammering Donald Trump, to the chagrin of many people I know. Now, as a conservative Christian, many people believe that I have the exact beliefs they do about Trump, that he's the anointed one, that he is here to fix America, to make America great again, to make right what was wrong. I disagree completely. In fact, I'm going to talk about why I disagree today, even though it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Even now, I get some looks from people I know that are Christians, some side glances. I'm sure many are upset with me. Others may not watch my videos and don't know yet. But it may get out that, yeah, David's not with us. Let me first start out with this. Donald Trump had large support from Christian nationalists, which is not a religion, it's a political movement. But within that political movement, Christian nationalism, were plenty of Christians and a lot of evangelicals. And I would gather to say that many of those evangelicals don't know they're truly closet Christian nationalists. It's that fine of a line in many ways. Christian nationalism is dangerous. They want to overwrite the Constitution. They want to make America a totally Christian country by legislation, by fear. Not a good thing. This is not scriptural in any way. And the very fact that many believe Donald Trump's the arm of the Lord himself to get this done scares me even more. I've made the point that we are a step away from fascism. It's true, Trump is an authoritarian thinking person. This is who he really is. And even myself, a researcher, did not know all there is to need to know about Donald Trump. And after researching more, he terrifies me even more. So I watched Lord of the Rings a couple of times. I love the show. J.R. Tolkien was the writer of Lord of the Rings, and he was a Christian. And there was a lot of Christian themes within his books, which did transfer to the big screen. They did a remake of it, actually a prequel, called Rings of Power. But the star of that show, the heroiness, the hero, was named Galadriel. She is an elf that is the main character. Now, the reason I bring this up is because if you understand the Lord of the Rings, the concept is the devil, the evil one. Sauron is the evil one. And he keeps coming back over and over again in these books. And in the prequel, he was defeated once, and again, he wanted to come back. The reason I bring this up is that he was a dark lord. He promised, and he told people this, that he wants to fix things. He wants to make it better. He wants to unite Middle-earth. But Galadriel realizes he wants to unite Middle-earth with a fist of iron, with butchery, with a leadership of basically being a god over them, lording over them, with no freedoms. And she said this quote, and I speak this to everybody watching this: "It darkens the mind to call dark deeds good." Let's fast forward to 2024. I think 55% of people who voted for Trump that consider themselves Christians knew he was an authoritative figure, worried about it. 1 in 10 of those people voted for him. Wow. You see, they were deceived. We're in the midst of a great deception of Christians. See, Christians love talking about this great deception that's coming. It's not going to be them. The ones who preach it and the ones who sit in front of those pastors, it's not them. They're not the ones that are going to be deceived, and yet they were. By one of the biggest snake oil salesmen in the world, one of the best liars and manipulators of all time, Donald Trump. And if you research Donald Trump, you find out this is who he was. He's not a secret. This isn't something that was hidden. But you see, we allowed ourselves to get inundated with his narrative, the propaganda, his awesomeness, his ability to spin tales, his ability to find the bad guy, point at the enemies. Hitler did the same. Other strong men did the same over the years. They point and they find enemies that have to be destroyed. Enemies against the state, against the people. In this case, it's anybody that doesn't think like these evangelicals, like these Christian nationalists, like Donald Trump, people of color, people that don't come from this country, people that disagree, people that question. So let's go to the Bible and find out a little bit about this. Because when you talk to a Christian nationalist and you talk to many evangelicals, and I want to go on record here, not every evangelical is like this. I believe that many don't see it this way because maybe they haven't had the opportunity to hear it put this way. So here's your moment of truth. Many people believe that right is right and wrong is wrong because the devil is deceiving people. Most people who aren't Christians are already deceived. So let's eliminate those off the bat. In Isaiah 5:20, Isaiah says this: "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." Now, if you look at today and what I've just said about Donald Trump, for instance, we look at all the things he's done that's evil. We say that's okay. He did it for a reason. He filed bankruptcy because 6 times, I believe, because he was a good businessman. I can tell you that if you're filing bankruptcy, it's not because you're a good businessman. It's because it's a plan. Okay? It's a deceptive plan. Okay, strike one. We have a person that, that lied. But it wasn't him lying. It was everybody else lying about him. Nothing was really true. He was the guy being defamed. He was the guy they were going after. Like the January 6th incident. And I've mentioned this in the past. Yes, that was a stain on the American people. That was called insurrection. Christian people who supported Trump hate hearing that because it wasn't that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. And every scholar, every person that actually has no skin in the game, that can actually speak to you without being brainwashed, is going to tell you that that's insurrection. He literally refused to let go of government. He was hoping that he could turn this election over on its ear and be put back in as president. Okay, Matthew 24:24. Jesus is saying this: "For there shall rise false Christs and false prophets, shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect." Okay, this is a really strange, because if it was possible to deceive the elect. Well, if you believe a lie, maybe you're not the elect. We have to look at that. I mean, not that that is a bad thing in itself, because as a Christian, we know there are prophets and prophetesses that go on YouTube channels that prophesy about how great Trump is, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. None of it has happened. His first 4 years were a complete failure. Complete and total failure. But people don't look at that. They're stuck in that illusion. They're stuck in that deception. They can't get to that point where they see the truth and it opens up an epiphany moment in their mind and go, wait a minute, did I just get taken? So how do I know that this all kind of works the way I'm thinking? Well, because Trump is a liar. I know I probably shouldn't have gone down that road today, but I'm going to give you just a few of the lies. If I had to go over every lie that was debunked, everything he said that was debunked, I'd be here for like 5 hours. So I got just a few, just the first few. I didn't have time to go over everything. Now, Trump, during the election, here's what's important. Let me set the stage. This was all said at campaign rallies. This was the sound bites. These were the sound bites used to convince people to vote for him. You don't have to tell the truth if no one's going to call you on it. And most of the people that supported him weren't going to call him on it. And those that did were considered nutcases and liars and communists and Marxists. Listen to Mark Levin on the radio. There's a guy that, like Sean Hannity, hasn't seen a person that wasn't a Marxist, that didn't bow down to the altar of the right-wing conservative world. Okay, Trump, one of the lies. He told everybody that FEMA spent all their money on illegal immigrants, all of it. Now, I looked this up myself. And again, for those of you that don't know where to get this information, I will tell you that it's available on just about any government site. FEMA had $11 billion. They still have that money and they're using it for the illegal immigrants that everybody's so worried about. FEMA has an entirely different pool of money for that, as set by Congress. I was told this, and I looked it up, and that's how it works. Why would he say the opposite? Because you see, everybody's against him. These people are taking all of your money. They're taking everything from you. You deserve it. You're an American. Let me get down back on that. When the people first came over, they said they settled in an unknown land that didn't belong to anybody. It was like free, but there were Indians here. There were Native Americans here. So that was their land. So technically we came over and put up stakes and said it's ours. I know that might be odd to say things like that, but you have to think in different terms. Because when you don't, you start finding a way to hate people. You find you're on Trump's side. You're on that, let's find enemies to go and plunder and kill. Let's find people to boot out of our country and drop into the ocean somewhere. Hatred. I'm talking to you Christians as well. Yeah, because I found a lot of people feel that way. Because the hype, the rhetoric was over the top from Donald Trump. He was after, Haitians were eating every dog and cat in the 5-state area now. They're coming for yours. They're going to break into your house and crazy talk. Crazy talk. People believed it. Here's another one. And birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment basically tells you if you're born in this country, you're a citizen. You're a citizen of the United States. Trump doesn't like that because he's going to deport people. And if one of their children was born here, he wants to get rid of them too because he doesn't want to break up families, although he did in 2017. He took babies away from parents, put them miles away under armed guard. You feel good about that? Is that what you really feel good, those of you that think that's okay? I'm going to tell you, it's not. So he said, well, we don't want to do that. We just want to send them all back, even though many of these people haven't been back to their country in 20 years. You just send them back. Some he wants to send back to countries that aren't even theirs. How does that work? By the way, we're not the only country that has birthright citizenship. He believes we're the only one. He's told people, we're the only country that does this. We're going to stop. Well, no. There's about 36 countries at least that have this, Donald. Okay, Trump said crime is at an all-time high because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They're out there funding criminals and on the streets themselves, sticking people up and causing riots. That's not true either. Crime rates have plummeted since the early 1990s. In fact, in 2023, they declined again. Trump's tariffs. How about that? Remember the Trump's tariffs? He's going to tariff the whole world. We're going to get back America, make it great again. We're going to tariff everybody. If you don't do what we want, we're going to tariff you. I'm great. I stopped wars because of tariffs. What he said was, after being asked, they'll cost America nothing. Now, he was told by about 20 different corporations, Black & Decker, IBM, different places, that they're going to raise prices as soon as he puts the tariffs on. Trudeau, the president of Canada, said, yeah, we're going to tariff you too, if you tariff us. And yeah, people that do the importing, the actual importers have come out and said, yeah, I pay that extra money. China doesn't pay that extra money. Canada doesn't pay the tariff. Mexico does not pay the tariff. The European Union will not pay those tariffs. He said, or she said, I'll pay the tariffs. And guess who pays me back? The company that's bringing in the item. And that they're going to charge you and me. Prices will go up. Another lie. Or he's stupid. See, here's the thing. If you don't think that's a lie, if you don't think these things are lies, he may not know. I got some bad news for you. Then he's stupid. And I'm understanding from people who knew him personally. I know this from people that know him. See, I have a few advantages over you. I got some info. Conservative people that vote conservative, right-wing people will tell you he's stupid, knows nothing about history, wrong all the time. And this is your guy. He's going to save America, making it great again. Trump inflation. Remember that? It was all Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris was the vice president. It was her fault about inflation. Listen, that's funny to me. I laugh because it'd be like saying his vice president, Pence, was responsible for his inflation. Well, it doesn't work that way. No, see, here's the sad thing. Again, you people out there that thought that was funny and think that's true. What school did you go to? Were you asleep in, your what we call POD class, your government class, when you were learning about how the government works? Where were you? I'm asking as a serious, where were you when you believed this stuff? The stuff that how the government works, the 14th Amendment. If you don't know this stuff, then yeah, the slick con artist, authoritarian leader is going to take advantage of you, and he did. Hook, line, and sinker pulled you right into the ocean. Trump inflation. He said we had no inflation. Quote, we had no inflation. As an economist guy, I can tell you, and the numbers are there. He had 8%. And it was his inflation. He created that inflation, which then went into the Biden administration. You just don't get rid of inflation. Not like that. It was his inflation. Live up to it. Grow a pair, Donald, and say, yeah, that was my fault. But he can't ever say it's his fault. Can't ever do it. When he built a building and he owed $1 million and he only paid him $500,000 because he felt like he can get away with paying him $500,000. He did it all the time, but you voted for him because, see, God's protecting you. Put the Bible in front of you. God said it's okay. No, he didn't. No, he didn't say it's okay. In fact, God said, don't call good evil and evil good. Even in a fantasy show, Rings of Fire, it says, it darkens the mind to call dark deeds good. Don't call these dark deeds good. These are not. You can't just support people that abuse women, I have a daughter. I'm thinking to myself, what would I do if this guy did what he did to so many other women? But it's okay. God said it's okay. Now, you might say God didn't say it's okay. No, you're saying God said it's okay by supporting him as a Christian. By going to Scripture and yanking something out. Said, see? No. Can't do that. Some of you pastors have to pull your head out of the Old Testament more. In a lot of these cases. The Old Testament has value. But I'm here to tell you, it's not always what you think it means. Obviously, because you voted for Trump. Okay? Another one. Here's the big one. This was actually debunked by like 2,500 people. But you never heard it on anybody. No one reported it. You're not going to hear this on you did actually hear it on the Fox News Network, the fascist news network. They even reported that he was wrong. He said, and he repeated this on every TV show, news show, and every rally he had. He repeated it, knowing he was already debunked. This is what he said. And that's the case with all of these. He said there were 13,099 murders released in the U.S. over the last 3 years. 13,000. He made a point. The exact number, he said, and I watched this one, is 13,099. Liar. In fact, debunked by everybody. But his own administration, multiple people in his own administration said, besides others, that this happened over decades. That these people, they accumulate these numbers, it's over decades. Many came in under his own administration. And most of them are serving sentences in the prison, okay? Most of them are serving sentences. That was said by his people in the Justice Department. Most of them are in prison. And when they released, ICE will be waiting for them to deport them. But he said, Kamala Harris is protecting them. He said that. He said she's protecting them and making sure they don't get arrested. I don't know Kamala Harris. And there's been a lot said about her. I don't know her. And I didn't believe half the stuff they said. It was ridiculous. I give her credit for running a good campaign, considering the situation she was in. Okay? Someone told me the other day that should never have happened. You just can't give somebody a denomination without going through the process. Well, then, how would you do that? And I didn't ask him this. I didn't. How would you stop the election process to have another Democratic National Convention months before the election? We talk out of the wrong parts of our body. Most people do. They voted for their wallets. They voted because eggs cost too much. Meanwhile, everything else is going to go up. Meanwhile, we have no clue what his own Justice Department's going to do, because he's already threatened to prosecute people. He wants to put congressmen in jail for going against him for the January 6th committee. He wants to put congressmen in jail. Of course, that physically can't happen, but he believes himself. He thinks everybody should be in jail that doesn't agree with him. Forget rule of law. Forget the process. These are enemies of the state. They're enemies of Donald Trump. You vote for him? I'm not going to condemn you. Maybe I convicted you a little bit. I'm not. You voted who you wanted to vote for. I've told people who've actually told me they voted for him. I said, that's fine. A gentleman yesterday told me I voted for Donald Trump. I says, I did not. Okay? But I respect your vote. But I always told people to vote by knowledge. Understand the person you're voting for. Sometimes it's hard to do that. With Donald Trump, it wasn't. The warning signs were all there. And unfortunately, that storm is approaching, and I don't know how much damage it will do. I don't know. Maybe things will work out. Maybe people will stand up to him. Maybe these nominations he's put before the Senate, most of which those nominations are unqualified, will be shot down. I'm not sure. But I think we're headed for a rocky ride. And God forbid that everything he wants to do happens, because this nation will end. It will no longer be the nation we knew as children. That's all the time I'm going to put here today. God bless you. Don't forget the live stream Thursday night at 7 on the Tom Sick Analysis channel. Outside of that, God bless you, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tom Sick Analysis.
Thank you for watching the Tom Sick Analysis. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and keep an eye out for our next video.